Just be playing.
Live from the Lumberyard in Pullman, this is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every Cougar Football Hour this season. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. Now, alongside Cougar head coach Jimmy Rogers, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
It is good to be back here at the Lumberyard. It is the Cougar Football Hour, and we see some smiling faces as we always do, but there's a little extra energy when it's a home week, and it's been over a month since the Cougs have been at home. And here we go, Saturday, Washington State hosting Toledo, 12:30 kickoff at Gesa Field. Can't wait for it. We've got another packed show here tonight. We've got Chris Myers from the coaching staff, Adamola Filelet, WSU tied in, and we're here as we always are with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. Coach, it's been a while since the team has had a home week. Here we go back in front of the fans on Saturday.
Yeah, we're excited and ready to really turn the page and attack the next segment of our season. Last Saturday we felt like we let one get away, so to come back home and play a really tough Toledo team, it's an opportunity to kind of change the trajectory of our season right now. So I'm excited for that.
Last week, you touch on it, the team goes on the road, plays 18th ranked Virginia, ends up falling 22-20 in a very tight one with a talented Cavaliers team. How do you look back on that one?
It's hard because we were right there, and this, I felt like for 3 quarters in that game might have been the cleanest and the best that we had played together collectively, offense, defense, special teams. And in the fourth quarter, just a skew of, miscues that happened in the game, and it kind of slipped away from us. And I have a lot of regret myself, just kind of how it went. And right now, honestly, it's more so about how do we learn from it so it doesn't happen again. And that's kind of where I put my focus. I think you got to be able to learn from your past, be in the present, and then continue to work for the future. And that's where we're at right now. So we have a competitive football team. Obviously, we can play against some of the best in the country. We just need to put it together and continue to focus on the finer details in which separates you to do that. So I'm really excited for this upcoming weekend and a home game in front of a great, obviously, great showing and an atmosphere. So hopefully it doesn't rain too much, but we're excited for the opportunity.
Looking forward to the game Saturday. Again, it's been since the Apple Cup, since the Cougs were at home. But over that 3-week stretch, an impressive win over Colorado State. Going on the road to play number 4 Ole Miss. Tight one there. And again, another tight one against another top 20 team in 18th ranked Virginia. Talking about that game a little more, the Cavaliers came into last Saturday 11th in the nation in total offense, averaging 489 yards per game. The Cougs limited them to just 301 yards of total offense. What pleased you most about the defense's performance?
Yeah, I thought there was a cleaner level of execution. Our guys communicated really well. When you watch defense, not just as a fan on plays and the results, when you can see the back 7 kind of communicate and there's a flow to it and they're in rhythm and can tackle in space and everybody's playing with the right effort. Those are the things that win you football games, and that was the most in sync we had been for an extended period of drives consistently. The multiple 3-and-outs, the opportunities to respond when adversity hit, when we turned the ball over, and then turning some of those into field goals. The one that bugs maybe all of us the most is when we pinned them inside the 5 and then they were able to march on us. That drive kind of got away from us. But overall, I felt like we tackled cleaner. We were a little bit more crisp with the communication. We handled that adversity the right way, and we played extremely hard. And we played hard on both sides.
I'm thinking back to after the first interception, Zevi threw that pick in the first half. Virginia gets the ball at the WSU 40-yard line, and Caleb Francel makes that stop on 4th and short. That's a heck of a job by the defense to not allow a single point when Virginia gets the ball at the Cougar 40.
Yeah, there's some key plays in that. And when you play together and everybody does their job, you might not make the play every single play, right? But you need to make the play that comes into your responsibility and execute it. And that was one of those instances for Caleb. And there was many inside of that game where I felt like were pivotal moments. And then yeah, just unfortunately in the fourth quarter, we just didn't play well enough. I didn't coach well enough. And because of those things, we let one slip. And I took ownership with the team on Monday when we met. I believe that we could be so much better, but there's a finer detail in which you have to prepare and how you have to think and live your day in order to get the success that you want. And then you have to look at that success and say, how could I have been better? If we're not trying to do that, you'll at times accept the things when they go your way, because some of those plays in that game could have went our way. And then at the end of the game with the kickoff return to pin us in that situation, that's on me as far as communicating and the whole circumstance and our players needing to understand the situation in the game. That's on me. And I'm excited for another opportunity to just continue to grow as a team. So I'm kind of off of Virginia. Every time I come to this show, I got to relive what I just got done trying to fight living for a whole week. Yeah, I'm ready for Saturday.
That's fair. Well, a couple more things, but these are really impressive positives in my mind. Think back to that second touchdown drive for the Cougs to put them up 14-7. 8 plays, 64 yards, over 5 minutes came off the clock. There was only one completion on that drive, and it was to a running back, and Leo Pulalasi. Was that one of the more impressive drives by the team this year?
Yeah, I think because there was a level of consistency as far as like run and pass, and just a clean operation. The thing with us as an offense is we've had success moving the ball, but we haven't had success when we made a mistake digging ourselves out. So there's two ways that you can think of that. You have to have the mental capacity to get yourself out of tough situations after you make them, or just don't make them in the first place. And we're working through that, and that takes a commitment from everybody, coaches and players included, that when they get an opportunity to step on the field, they got to own the moment and the entire situation inside the game. You got to own it. You can't overthink it, and you can't feel the pressure of the magnitude of the game. Just you got to go out and play your best and reset yourself and focus and do your job the best of your ability, and that comes from just living inside the rules of the game.
Josh Meredith ends up with over 100 yards in that game. That's the second time in his career he has done that. The prior time was back in last year's Apple Cup when the Cougs got the victory over the Huskies in Seattle. I've heard before the title Mr. Reliable with him. Does that really ring true with Josh Meredith and what he brings to the team?
Yeah, he's very consistent. He works consistent. He comes to practice with the right attitude. He takes individual drills, which is something I really believe in. I don't think, if you guys go to NFL practice, you watch guys just kind of jog around and go through the motions. Josh isn't one of those guys. He's laser focused in Indy. He's the front of the line. He goes through the drills full speed, and then he practices like that. And I think when you can practice and process like that and you get more reps at it, it ends up showing up in games. And that's why I encourage all of our team to make sure that they're looking at some of the guys that are producing, because how they work at practice is what's allowing them to produce. It just doesn't happen on a Saturday.
And then another example of next man up, and every team's going to have this over the course of a season, but on the offensive line, we saw Jalen Caldwell have to fill in for Christian Hilborn. Then Jalen Caldwell ends up getting banged up. We saw it a little bit against Ole Miss, but more extended action where Johnny Lester moved out from left guard to right tackle, and Noah Dunham moved into left guard. How is that? I know next man up is just a reality of football, but those guys either move into another position like Johnny Lester and showing his versatility, or Noah Dunham getting the most extended playing time of his career.
Yeah, I was proud of Noah. I mean, when we got here in the spring, he had competed his butt off, and it was due to the ability to go out and find a transfer to bring in to compete with, which at that time was AJ Vaipulu. And then AJ ended up winning that job, and so Noah's kind of been in that situation of kind of being the guy that gets reps at center. He'll get reps at both guards. The person that also stepped up was Johnny, because Johnny has somewhat secured that role at left guard, and then for him to be just thrown in the mix. And we do it at practice just to secure that when we lose a player, we put our next best reliable player in there, and we make sure that the pieces are working together and that there's enough confidence in what they're going to be asked to do when they step into that role. So we try to assure that those things are, that the players actually feel confident in how it's being taught and what they're expected to do. And I think when you buy into that and you can teach like that in the classroom setting, as far as a coach to a player, and making everything kind of not just what one person does, but what the whole group is doing, and the communication part, you're just a piece of that, right? So it's kind of, it's like learning how to do something with your left hand at times, which isn't always easy, right? And you're forced to do it like that in front of 50,000 people. So I'm proud of those guys because they were competitive in the game. We just at times fell off and we're running out of energy, hanging on to blocks, and we got to build that stamina. We got to keep our feet in the ground, and the next guy up on this football team needs to continue to be ready because of the injuries that have occurred. But we're not going to say anything's due, to injuries. We're one team. Try to stress that week to the guys this week. We're one team. Everybody has a role. You may not like it right now, so prepare for the role that you want. And when it opens, you better be willing to, step through the door of opportunity and make the most of it. Otherwise, you'll regret that decision on not giving your best just as much as you will when you get there and you're not ready. So I'm excited for the guys that we're going to have the opportunity to continue to get reps and see what they can do for their opportunity, because there's a lot of good football players on the team.
Good advice in football, good advice in life right there. Again, that is the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. We are here live at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour and is presented in part by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every coach's show this season. They're right over there. So great to have them here at the Lumberyard for all of our Cougar Football Hours. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. Again, still to come on the show, tight end Adamola Filelet going to be here. Chris Myers from the coaching staff going to stop by, but we'll have more with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers, after this break. This is the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Imagine waking up in a place where spectacular views change every day, where unforgettable memories are made every night, and where the journey is far more fun than your destination. Now stop imagining and go RVing. Coach Walden here for my friends at Valley RV Supercenter in Kent, the Northwest premier Jayco dealer, the affordable RV dealer and proud sponsor of Cougar football. So whether it's a family weekend on the coast, a winter in the desert, or a tailgate party in the Palouse, your journey begins at ValleyRVSupercenter.com.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
Alliant Employee Benefits is the Inland Northwest leader in employee benefit consulting and brokerage. Alliant is a difference maker, providing employee benefit solutions and problem solving while helping companies grow and protect their business. Alliant keeps its clients on the forefront of the benefit industry's constant evolution while improving the benefits experience for employees through better health outcomes and more cost-effective care. Give Alliant a call and see what they can do for you.
Download the WSU Cougars mobile app today, which features the latest news. Plus, it's your way to stream all of our Cougar Sports Network radio broadcasts. Listen to Cougar football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, baseball game broadcast, plus coaches shows, all for free with WSU Cougars Game Day app. Take our broadcast with you wherever you go. Available now by searching WSU Cougars Game Day in the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Cougar Nation, each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards Program. Stay tuned for more information on how to become a Rewards Program member. It is the Cougar Football Hour. We are here at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. We are gearing up for Saturday's home game. Oh, that has such a nice ring to it. Cougs back at home for the first time in over a month, hosting Toledo. It's a 12:30 kickoff. Our coverage with the Coors Light Cougar Tailgate Show here on the Cougar Sports Network. Derek Dice, Billy Newman will have that coming your way at 10:30. Kickoff again at 12:30. And we are back with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. Coach, okay, 3 straight games on the road, all 3 to different time zones. I was just kind of thinking about that. When you live it, you don't necessarily think it as much, so they were different time zones, but everyone a little bit further. We got Mountain Time Zone, Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone. What is it like to not be having to get on a plane and to see your phone or your watch have to reset its time on Friday?
Yeah, I didn't think it was awful. Is it long? Yeah, it's long. But if it wasn't, like I said, getting on a plane and traveling, I would be filling that with other type of work. So it's just different work. I'm more excited to play at home just so everybody can be a part of it here in Pullman, and the Cougs fans can be a part of it and come out and make an impact in our game, like we felt like a little bit that, you know, the opposing team last week was able to make an impact in the game, because those are the things where you gain home field advantage, and I think those are fun for our players because their family and friends get to come out and enjoy it with them. So I'm excited for that. As far as the time change, I thought the most unique, obviously, was last weekend. It's really unique to, you know, you wake up in the morning and it's you're just thinking about how far, you know, it's at a 3:30 kick, and it just doesn't feel like the same exact time zone at all. And that's how I felt the night prior too. But I didn't feel like that way at Ole Miss really at all. Our guys handled that really well. And then, you know, Colorado State was it was nothing really.
Ole Miss wasn't, maybe because it was such an early one, it was just you get up and go?
I don't think we had the time to think about it. Yeah, because when we woke up, what was it, 4:45 breakfast, right? And our time, our guys wake up early, so it's not that big of a deal, but you didn't really have time to think about it because you were in the flow of things, and then you're running out of a tunnel in front of so many people, and the opportunity to get to play a top team like that, you know, I don't think you think about it. But when you have the longer time in the day to think about it, you're like, what time is it back home? Those things were a little unique, especially with the time change. We started our day on Saturday at what I believe 10 a.m. breakfast or 10 a.m. wake up, and that's really to set these guys up closer to the time in which they would be asked to do something with us here, which is 7 a.m. So I don't think that there was really that big of an adjustment. Had we had played that game at, you know, the Ole Miss kickoff time, I think that would have been a real blow. But our guys would have found a way to respond with that. I try not to talk about the things that don't matter too much.
That's fair. And the team, obviously, strong performances there and looking to build on those with Saturday's matchup with Toledo. Okay, let's talk about our guests here tonight. First, we'll start with the member of the coaching staff that's joining us, Chris Myers, tight ends coach and recruiting coordinator as well. How would you describe what he brings to the staff, to the team?
Yeah, he's got great energy. He's a really good teacher. He builds relationships with our players outside of just the opportunity that he gets to coach them inside the building. And I think about, you know, what makes a great coach. You got to be able to invest into their life, and Chris is an example of that. He's a great talent evaluator, and then he does a great job at developing his position. You know, we've been together for a while now, and I've been able to watch him develop some really, really special, you know, raw talent into some of the best in the country. So I'm excited for his growth and what he can do for not just the position room at tight ends, but as a staff. And he's a huge part of our staff. He's got a great sense of humor, and everybody seems to love him.
Okay, he's got a great sense of humor. Can you elaborate on that?
Well,
is he the coach that makes you laugh the most?
He's witty. I don't want to give him too much credit, but he's witty. Well. Yeah, he gets mistaken often for Pat Cashmore, our special teams coordinator. Sometimes but actually it bugs him when I call him Cash, and it doesn't bug Coach Cash when I call him Myers. So if there's a compliment, somebody's excited to be you, Chris.
Well, I think we're getting him blushing. It's hard to tell through the beard, but we might have him blushing a little bit. Well, with the player we have stopping by, Adamola Filelet, a veteran coming here to WSU for the end of his career. What does he mean to the team both on and off the field?
Yeah, he's a great worker, cares a lot. He's really detailed about how he goes about his work. You know, in his whole experience of playing, I think he needed a staff to believe in him and take time and develop him. And when he got here, he was really focused on his role and trying to grow into his own at the position. And he's been a huge asset for us as a football team. I think his biggest growth isn't just in pass catching, because I felt like that was really natural just watching him develop from spring to fall. I would say his biggest growth has been his ability to be an impact blocker for us. Versus Ole Miss, that was by far his best game, just climbing to the second level and staying sticky on blocks. And some of those big runs were due to, you know, unseen effort by Mola and Trey. So when you commit to something and it's important to you, you can always take growth regardless of what year you are in school or what game it is in a season. And Mola is an example of that. He works really hard, and I'm happy to have him on the team for his last year.
Looking forward to visiting with both of them. Coach, we'll let you loose for now and have you back on to preview Toledo. Again, that's the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers, joining us here at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour, which is brought to you in part by Northern Quest. Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll have tight ends coach, recruiting coordinator Chris Myers joining us. That's all after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. Rural communities face unique healthcare challenges. By providing hands-on opportunities for WSU students in health sciences, nursing, pharmacy, and the Elson Floyd College of Medicine, Pullman Regional Hospital is helping to shape the future of local healthcare. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State. Partners in excellence.
If we know anything about Cougs fans, it's that a win isn't all you're hungry for on game day. So Northern Quest has a full lineup of restaurants and lounges ready to face any appetite. Cheer on your Cougs with craft beer and cocktails in front of Epic's 10 by 30-foot screen. Grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, or tackle a burger at Fat Burger, before it tackles you. Full menus at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Dear Traction, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, check out the all-new Inside WSU Athletics podcast each week here straight from WSU Director of Athletics Ann McCoy as the podcast takes fans inside Cougar Athletics with all the latest news and information, including interviews with Cougar coaches, student athletes, alumni, and staff each week. Find every Inside WSU Athletics podcast episode on the WSU Cougars YouTube page, or you can listen on your favorite podcast platform as well. The one just came out today. Really fun conversations. Russell Whitaker, swim coach here at WSU, talking about the season. And also a name certainly familiar to Coug fans on the football side of things, Luke Falk, who will be back in town this weekend. It's the 10-year reunion for the 2015 Sun Bowl team. And Luke Falk, of course, not only a record setter, but also now working as on the mental skills side of coaching, and just released a brand new book. We get to talk about that with him and Ann McCoy, so go check that out. Luke's doing just outstanding work, and need to see and catch up with him, and I know it's going to be awesome to have him and a whole bunch of those teammates from the 2015 team back here in Pullman this week. Well, here we are with Chris Myers, tight ends coach, recruiting coordinator for the Cougs. Welcome into the Cougar Football Hour. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm great. I appreciate you guys having me out. So I've been thinking all day. I just got to make sure I try to use my college voice while I'm up here so I don't embarrass my family too much.
Well, there you go. And you've got a good voice, and we got to hear from Coach Rogers about your wit. That's a pretty good compliment there. But for you, I mean, this is kind of natural for you, right? Doing something like this is in your blood?
Well, yeah, so I was telling you right before the break, and my dad did play-by-play for Stephen F. Austin football and basketball for 20 years, so I grew up being at these radio shows, in the back corner, trying to, mess with them, see if I can make them mess up all these up here. So been to a lot of these. It's always kind of interesting being on the stage now.
Well, we're happy to have you up here for it. Did you think coaching was always going to be your path, or if you had a dad who was around the game in that way, what were you thinking when you ultimately were deciding, okay, what do I want to do?
I always knew I wanted to be in sports just because I grew up around the field house, and I grew up around coaches, and, my dad wasn't a coach, but I was that 4-year-old that was in the equipment room trying on helmets and doing the whole thing. So I always knew I wanted to be in it some way. For a long time, I wanted to be him. I wanted to get into the athletic department and, do radio and that whole thing. And but as I got older and older, just, fell in love with football. And my mom's a teacher, and, that was a huge influence. And, I do love teaching. It gives me a lot of joy to see kids kind of figure things out. So it just kind of naturally fit, and kind of here we are.
Well, here we are. Let's rewind a little bit. How did that journey unfold from when you said, okay, coaching's what I want to do, you got your first taste of it, and how that path led you here to Pullman?
Yeah, so I went to TCU out of high school, and nobody in the country wanted me to play football for them, so I just went to go to school. But my last 2 years there, I got an opportunity to be a student assistant for under Gary Patterson for 2 years, and learned a ton. Those were tough years. It was a lot like boot camp. It's like the most fun you never want to have again. But did 2 years of that, left, graduated, actually went back home to Stephen F. Austin, got my first job there as an assistant offensive line coach, and it was a really cool experience. I got to work with my dad and then actually coach my little brother, who was a redshirt freshman offensive lineman on the team. So that was awesome. Did that for 2 years, and then went up to Oklahoma State for 4 years. Had a great experience there under Coach Gundy and all those guys, and after that was blessed and ended up in Brookings, South Dakota State, and had an unbelievable experience there, and met obviously Coach Rogers, and got here.
Well, and we're happy to have you here, and your timing at South Dakota State, correct me if I'm wrong, year number 1, you're coaching Tucker Kraft. You got the future, outstanding player, not only at South Dakota State, but certainly everyone now familiar with what he's doing with the Green Bay Packers. There's a great tradition of tight ends at South Dakota State. What was it like kind of coming into that situation and getting to work with him and help mentor him, and then building on that tradition?
Oh, it was an unbelievable experience, so that was my first real chance coaching tight ends on a full-time basis, and Tuck was awesome. Tuck is an unbelievable kid to be around just on a daily basis of how much he puts into football and how much it means to him. He's a junkie, and that's why he's as successful as he is right now. The first spring we were together with him, I felt like I probably had like 2 coaching points for him. The whole spring was just like, hey, you got to catch that, or hey, great catch. That was about it. And as time went on, I learned a lot watching him, and hopefully I really helped him develop as well. But getting to work with guys like that, they make you better every day because they want to be so great. So it forces you as a coach to match that, exceed that, get them to where they want to go.
And that's one of a number of examples of what the coaching staff, and you definitely a part of that, really impressive track record of development, that seeing guys come through under everyone's tutelage on the coaching staff, and ultimately what they're able to flourish and blossom and become. So with that, tight ends coach, but also the recruiting coordinator, that's a big job title. What comes with that aspect of your duties?
A lot of it is it's a lot of logistics work, is making sure guys are all on the same page of what everybody's doing, where people are going out. And, here, we're blessed with a unbelievable recruiting department. Ricky Ciccone, Anthony Calcutta, all these guys that do a great job behind the scenes. So I don't have to have near as much input as I did before, which is probably for the best, but so really for me, it's just making sure everybody's kind of on the same page about the plan, and then letting people just do their jobs. At the end of the day, it's your job to coach that kid, and you got to be the one that feels good about taking them and evaluating them. So it's all about kind of empowering the people you work with.
Well, coming up, we're going to have you back for the next segment. We'll talk about that position group you get to work with, the Cougar tight ends, and then we'll bring on Adamola Filelet, one of those standout tight ends from that position group you work with day in and day out. And then after that, Jimmy Rogers will rejoin us as we'll preview Saturday's game against Toledo. It is the Cougar Football Hour. We are here live at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. More after this break. You're tuned in on the Cougar Sports Network.
As proud Cougs, we always find our way back home. At McVeigh Brothers, we want to help all Cougs improve the value of your home. Hello, I'm Mike McVeigh from McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, a proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. The team of professionals at McVeigh Brothers take great pride in helping our customers remodel their homes with new entry doors, rain gutters, siding, roofing, and windows. At McVeigh Brothers, we're working for you.
When putting in a tree or fence post, we all hate it when our shovel hits a big rock. But there are worse things to come across, like a natural gas or electric line. Nowadays, buried utilities are everywhere, some just below the surface. That's why it's the law to call 811 before you dig, to have your lines marked ahead of time. It's free for Avista residential customers. So call 811 2 business days before you dig. You need time to pick out that perfect shrub anyway. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
With the WSU debit card from Gesa, it's hard to tell who's supporting who. When Coug fans use their WSU card, they show off their Coug pride and donations are made back to Cougar Athletics. But the card supports the Coug fan by helping them grow their money. So does the card support the Coug fan or does the Coug fan support the card? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the WSU card supports Cougar Athletics and your wallet at the same time. Get your WSU card at Gesa.com. Checking account transaction requirements, terms and conditions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Your audio home for all things Cougar Athletics is the Washington State Cougar Podcast Channel. Just search for Washington State Cougars on your favorite podcast platform to follow and subscribe to the official podcast home of the Cougs. Hear our original WSU Athletics podcast, plus replays from the Cougar Sports Network, including football pregame and postgame show coverage, full football game broadcast, and coaches shows. Find it all by searching for Washington State Cougars on your favorite podcast platform to start listening today. This is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every Cougar Football Hour this season. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. Once again, back to the Lumberyard Food Hall in downtown Pullman. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
What a great crowd we have here tonight. How many folks will be there Saturday at Gesa Field who are here tonight? Can't wait to see everyone out there. The team's first home game in over a month. Toledo, the opponent for the Cougs, 12:30 kickoff at Gesa Field. A reminder that you can listen to every Cougar football game and coaches show for free on the WSU Cougars Game Day app. Take our broadcast with you wherever you go. Download the WSU Cougars Game Day app today. Available now, Apple App Store, Google Play, all for free. Tune in and listen through the app. We are joined once again by WSU tight ends coach and recruiting coordinator Chris Myers. Okay, let's dive into your position group. We got Adamola Filelet here. We're excited to talk to him in our next segment. We're kind of going a little bit guy by guy, highlighting those tight ends, at least we kind of see on the field throughout the season. A returning Coug, Trey Lechner, a guy, a Washington native from Snohomish, had that 2-touchdown game against San Diego State. What has stood out most about what he brings to the position group?
He's just an unbelievable kid to be around every day. He's a great worker. I've been really proud of just seeing his growth since we've just been here, of kind of his role last year and what we're asking him to do now. Really just his work ethic and how he does really truly want to be great, and those guys are always fun to coach. We tell him all the time the hardest thing to deal with him, on a daily basis is his haircut. Kind of has the Lego hair that kind of just pops straight down and there it is. But other than that, he's an unbelievable kid.
Is there a team barber in the locker room?
There is. He doesn't go to him. So he's just kind of letting it eat, I guess.
Well, that's it's hidden under the helmet for the fans.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's too funny. Hudson Sigurlin, a guy who switched from linebacker to tight end. A bummer to see him get hurt. That was right around a month ago. How tough has that been to have him sidelined with injury? I'm sure he's helping out in every way possible that he can.
Yeah, it's obviously it's unfortunate. It's a part of the game, but watching him as he made that transition from linebacker in this to tight end in the spring, he's just gotten better and better each and every day, each and every week, and just kind of seeing the progress. And as an older guy, he wants to kind of be ready right now, and it's been a process for him, and he's continuing to get better. So it's been tough, obviously having him on the shelf, because he is a massive part of what we do as far as just in the room. He's a great leader. The other guys respect him, and he's a great teacher as well. So he helps me a ton with the younger guys. He's been a huge help to us.
Speaking of the younger guys, Bo Baker, not a bad moment for him. First career touchdown is the touchdown to begin the Apple Cup for the Cougs. What have you seen from the redshirt freshman this year?
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud of Bo. So Bo was with us at South Dakota State, came with us, after we made the move here. He has, there's so much talent and so much potential in him. He tore his ACL 4 days into his freshman season. So this is really like his true freshman year, but having him get that moment in the Apple Cup was really, really cool, just of how hard he's worked to get to this point and, like, how high his potential is. Like, the moment that Bo believes in himself as much as I believe in Bo, the sky's the limit for him.
Luke Layton, another youngster that has gotten some snaps this year. What's put him in a position to be able to see action?
Yeah, Luke he's earned everything he's been. He's a kid from Eugene, Oregon, and walked onto the team and has carved himself out a role, and it's going to continue to grow. He's in our room, probably one of the better route runners that we have, is an excellent threat, in the pass game, and but it's another guy that he's just continuing and growing into what we're asking him to do. But the things that stick out with him is his toughness. He's battled injury just even since we've been here and hasn't missed a step. So really excited to see what the future holds for him.
And how about our next guest, Adamola Filelet? What should Coug fans know about the tight end who will be up here in your chair and join us in the next segment?
He's a liar. Whatever he says. If it's about me.
He was telling me beforehand how great of a coach you were. So is that?
He'll tell the truth about that.
Okay.
It's really anything else. It's hit or miss. No. Mola, I hate complimenting Mola in front of him, but Mola is one of the people that, like, he's one of the kids of, like, why you coach. A person that, like, wants as much as you can pour into him. He wants more. He wants to be great, and he enjoys the process. Like some kids, they love Saturday. The great thing about being around Mola, he loves the meeting. He loves Tuesday. He just wants to be better. He wants to be great. Like I said, he's just a joy to coach. He's just a great kid to be around, and like I said, he's one of those kids that, like, it's very rewarding to be around.
We'll get into this with Jimmy Rogers when we have our opponent preview, but this is a stiff Toledo defense the Cougs will be clashing with coming up on Saturday. What's it going to be like for your group as the tight ends, the offense as a whole, to have success against this Toledo defense that not giving up a lot of yards this year?
Yeah, no, this is a phenomenal team coming in. We're extremely excited for, what the opportunity that they present. They play football a lot like we do. It's going to be physical. It's going to be disciplined. It's going to, you have to fight for every yard, and that's something that we instill in our kids of, everything that is earned, and they're going to make us earn it. And, for our guys, it's the same thing every week. They're probably tired of hearing me say it, but we break it down every Saturday right before we go into the locker room. It's fast, physical, and fearless. Like, you have to play with your hair on fire, and mistakes are going to happen, but your effort has to be there every day. So that is what I expect from the guys, is just the last few weeks we've been unbelievable with how hard we've played, and that has to carry over on a Saturday.
I'm looking forward for the Coug fans to have a chance to cheer on the team in person again coming up on Saturday. Chris Myers, our guest, tight ends coach, recruiting coordinator. We appreciate having you on. Thanks so much for the time, and best of luck coming up on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Again, Chris Myers, our guest. We'll take a break. When we return, tight end Adamola Filelet will stop by, and then a little bit later we'll have Jimmy Rogers, head coach of the Cougs, rejoin us. One quick reminder, another sponsor we'd like to give a big thank you to in Toyota. The Junior Cougs Kids Club is presented by Toyota, is the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars. It is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at wsucougars.com/JRCougs. More from the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman after this break. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
So yeah, I used to be the Headless Horseman's go-to jack-o'-lantern. We'd haunt the countryside, spook the townsfolk, legendary stuff.
But then he heard about Northern Quest's
$60,000 Heads Will Roll giveaway. Yeah, I know. And now he's off using his Camus card to rack up entries for the $30,000 grand prize on October 30th. Dude won't even text me back now. Then again, ghosting is kind of his thing. The Heads Will Roll giveaway, only at Northern Quest.
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
We are back on the Cougar Football Hour here at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman, gearing up for Saturday's home game. Washington State hosting Toledo. We're excited to be joined by WSU tight end Adamola Filelet. Thanks for being here, and I want to start right here. How's life as a Coug? Your last year of eligibility, you entered the transfer portal, you land at WSU. How is life at WSU?
It's been good. Happy to be down there.
Well, and Cougs are happy to have you here. And we were talking a little bit during the break, just your journey. So from Brockton, Massachusetts, originally played at Norfolk State, then went to Michigan State, and now here as a redshirt senior. Can you walk us through how that kind of path unfolded, just getting your college career started and then ending at the best spot here with the Cougs?
I started off at Norfolk State, obviously. That was my first year playing tight end. Kind of got rough. The transition from receiver to tight end, just in terms of blocking and stuff. The pass game always came to me naturally. I feel like looking at the start of my career to now, just like Coach Rogers said, I've been proud of my growth as a blocker and just being more of a complete tight end in general.
And he certainly gave you a lot of credit and well-deserved for your blocking recently. He mentioned that Ole Miss game. And for you, 6'7", and sometimes you see guys on the roster and you're like, oh, they're listed at 6'7", they might be 6'5".
Yeah.
You passed the eye test for being 6'7". Were you always one of the taller kids growing up, or did you have a late growth spurt?
Yeah, I've had growth spurts every year. I've always been a taller kid, though. I just never stopped growing, honestly.
And then you made the transition from wide receiver to tight end. That happened in college?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that? I mean, that's a lot more kind of. That's a lot. That transition as opposed to just there's blocking with being a wide receiver, but I imagine that mindset has to change a little bit with adding more of the blocking responsibilities.
Yeah, for sure. When you're on the perimeter, the guys you're blocking are 180, 190. You get in the trenches, they're 260, 270. Those are a lot bigger guys.
So you enter the portal and you're looking for the spot for that final year. You get contacted by WSU. What about the opportunity here, this coaching staff that spoke to you that said, hey, this is where I want to go?
Obviously I've seen the success they've had with the other tight ends in the past, like Tucker Kraft and stuff. And then also when I got here, I just saw the family vibe between the staff and just everybody cares about each other. And I ultimately just saw that I could have success here. So
yeah, the staff really impressive. Tucker Kraft, and we were talking about that before with Chris Myers, Dallas Goddard, and that's not mentioned everyone that they work with, but those are two really prime examples right there. Did you know anything about Pullman? So you're from Massachusetts. You spent most of your life on the East Coast, and at least kind of Michigan there in the Midwest. You're like, okay, Pullman, I want to learn about where I'm going to go?
I really honestly didn't know anything about Pullman before getting here. I'm still learning, honestly, but it's been good being down here. Obviously far away from home, but I've been enjoying my time here.
Well, one of the highlights I know had to be for you. It was neat to see that Colorado State game, your first touchdown as a Coug, third of your career. How special was it to find the end zone in that victory for Washington State?
It was good. On that play, exactly, we were doing a good job running on the ground with like duo and all that stuff. It's kind of just a misdirection play where we got me open on the other side of the field.
Well, earlier this year we had Brock Duon, who's a mechanical engineering major, and we're going to talk about what you've accomplished in the classroom coming up here. And I think it's really remarkable when guys like yourself and Brock can balance really hard majors and all the responsibilities that come with football. Can you tell folks here what you have your degree in?
I just recently graduated with a computer science degree in the spring. So.
Well, congratulations. That is an outstanding accomplishment. What are you thinking about applying that towards? So how do you want to use that degree someday?
Definitely towards, obviously, the technology aspect. Not exactly sure what exactly I want to do with it, but somewhere along the lines of like IT and that type of stuff. So.
That is awesome. Was it as hard as it seems like it is?
Yeah,
I mean, that's it.
Sure. Absolutely.
Did you know that was what you always wanted to do? Or
yeah. As a kid, I was always the kid that was on the computer from morning till night. So I always knew whatever I was going to study in college was going to be like anything computer science, engineering, just anything along those lines. So.
Wow. Well, that is awesome there. So. Back playing in front of the fans here in Pullman. What has you most excited about that? Because it's been a while. It's at least closer to what is home for you. Not quite in Massachusetts, but a little bit closer where the Cougs have been after a month away. What has you most excited about playing back at home?
Obviously, just being around my teammates. One thing I've been telling the guys here is I can definitely say this is the most connected I felt to my teammates during my time in college. And just on Saturdays, the atmosphere, with the fans and stuff, we got a loyal fan base. So I've definitely really enjoyed being a Coug thus far.
Well, I think there's no better note to wrap up the interview on with that. It's great to have you as a Coug. Congrats on your success throughout your college career on the field, what you've been able to do getting that computer science degree. And it's awesome to have you representing WSU. Best of luck Saturday and the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Again, that is Adamola Filelet, WSU tight end, stopping by here on the Cougar Football Hour. We will take another break. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. We'll have our opponent preview, take a closer look at the Toledo Rockets, the opponent coming to town on Saturday. You are listening to Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
As proud Cougs, we always find our way back home. At McVeigh Brothers, we want to help all Cougs improve the value of your home. Hello, I'm Mike McVeigh from McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, a proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. The team of professionals at McVeigh Brothers take great pride in helping our customers remodel their homes with new entry doors, rain gutters, siding, roofing, and windows. At McVeigh Brothers, we're working for you.
If you use natural gas, you recognize its blue flame. But natural gas is actually invisible and odorless. That's why Avista adds a rotten egg scent in case there's ever a leak. If you smell natural gas at home, get outside fast. Don't flip switches or do anything to cause a spark. Go somewhere safe. Call 911. Then Avista. We'll take care of the problem and tell you when it's okay to return. Till then, it's a good excuse to visit the neighbors. Avista. We just want you to be safe.
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with the new addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonbyHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
Back at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour, and it is time for the opponent preview presented by Coors Light. Choose Chill, proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly. Let's dive into this week's matchup. We're here with Jimmy Rogers. Okay, Toledo comes to town. The Rockets 4-3 overall, 2-2 in conference play. They were the preseason favorites in the MAC, third in the nation in total defense. Opponents averaging just 224 yards per game against them. What can Coug fans expect to see from this Toledo team? They'll be making their first ever trip to the Palouse this weekend.
Yeah, I think collectively they play really hard, and that's in all three phases defensively. I think they're really good on the back end of their defense. They work in unison together. The defensive line plays really hard, and they're physical, and they fly around. But you could see just on the back end of their defense, they do a really good job in coverage, they communicate well. They have some guys that will surely have a shot at the next level, especially at the corner position. So this game will be a challenge. We got to do a good job of minimizing air, and we got to be able to adjust inside of the game if the weather starts to shift into a rain game or not. And I would say that for both teams, so that's not really a secret in any sense. offensively, they're very multiple, and they got dynamic wide receivers on the perimeter, one in particular that is a game changer for them. So we're going to have to do a good job of minimizing his explosive plays and doing a good job stopping the run, because they try to be 50-50 in what they do, and they do a good job of it. Close to 36 points per game, and defensively giving up around 14. So it will surely be a challenge, and we got to compete for 60 minutes and not get caught up in the score inside of the game, but more so the result at the end, after we do what we should in the process of competing.
That standout wide receiver you're talking about, Junior Vanderos III, he's tied for first in the MAC, fifth in the nation with 7 touchdown receptions this year, second in the MAC with 45 receptions. So they've got some weapons at running back. Chip Trainum, he didn't play last week. Next man up really stepped up and had over 100 yards on the ground. Senior quarterback and Tucker Gleason, so they got a guy leading the charge for them on offense. He's played a lot of football. He's played a lot of football in a Toledo uniform.
Yeah, he makes a lot of really good decisions. He's a transfer from Georgia Tech that's kind of been the starter for the last 2 years, but regardless of when he's gone down inside of games, it seems like the next guy has stepped up, and he hasn't dropped off at all either. So they're a talented team. Being in the Midwest, Toledo is a brand in itself as far as the competitiveness inside of the MAC. And so I know for us as a staff, we're not taking them lightly. There's a lot of mutual connections just over years. Pat Cashmore was there. Ricky Ciccone was there. I was never there, but I'm close with the defensive coordinator, Ross Watson, and kind of know what they're about. So it's going to be a challenge, and we're going to have to compete, and we're going to have to adjust to the situation inside of the game.
Toledo, to their credit, this is a program that has not had a losing season since 2009. So the streak of 15 consecutive winning seasons, or at least 500 seasons, that puts them only behind Boise State and Alabama. They're above Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, and Iowa. So they're in very good company there with the consistency of their program. You mentioned your connection with their defensive coordinators. Does that mean philosophically what they try to do defensively is similar to what the Cougs try to do?
Yeah, in a sense, for sure. He does it slightly different than us, but there's a lot of consistency in how we play, and then I would say the brand of the effort in which we play with is very similar.
We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll have a little more with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. Saturday, Cougs back at home, hosting Toledo. 12:30 kickoff. Can't wait to see everyone at Gesa Field. More with the Cougar Football Hour, live from the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. After this, you're listening on the Cougar Sports Network.
Play, stay, get away at Clearwater River Casino in Lewiston, Idaho. Owned and operated by the Nez Perce Tribe. Experience Namipu hospitality with 600 gaming machines, comfortable lodging, dining, and sports bar. Excitement is everywhere. The region's premier destination for events and entertainment. Win big with unforgettable concerts, comedy shows, and live sports action. Discover your next play, stay, get away. Visit crcasino.com and start your adventure today.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Dear Traction, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Back at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour. We are here with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. And let's turn to one of our audience questions, Coach. Matt Kylo talking about recruiting a little bit here. And this is nice tie-in with Chris Myers, recruiting coordinator, being our assistant coach guest. Asking, do trips to Ole Miss, Virginia, and James Madison help to get WSU on the radar of recruits who might not have known or been necessarily thinking about the Cougs on the top of their mind before?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it, I would say beating quality teams does that naturally and puts you in that current national landscape of having success and wanting to join you. As far as the brand of Washington State, I don't know if that's, everybody in the country knows Washington State. So we got to come out and have the success that we want in order to continue to grow the success that we want to have in the future. So we're responsible for that right now. But yeah, I wouldn't say everybody in the country. You know, we brought 8,000 people with us to Ole Miss, so I think that's a pretty good showing, and I think that side of the country kind of knows what Washington State's about right now.
Yeah, well said there. And then at the Virginia showing as well, plenty of Crimson up in the seats there at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville. We were talking a little bit during the break and kind of rewinding a little bit. This will be different this week in the sense that the opponent will not be coming off a bye. It's just worked out with the schedule this year that it's been an opponent almost week after week after week coming off a bye. Just recently, Virginia, Ole Miss, UW, even kind of going back further. Is it nice from the coaching perspective knowing that the opposition does not have a full week to prep and a full week where they didn't have to beat themselves up playing a game?
Yeah, I try not to talk about it too much, but it's hard sometimes the situation that you're in with injuries and you're watching a team come off of a bye week with fresh players. But our guys are battling, and we got 2 more before a bye, so we're going to compete extremely hard in this game and try to bring home a win, because that's why we do this.
Yeah, well said there. And then I know some guys maybe you've met before, we'll get a chance to meet in the future. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast talking about Luke Falk. He was our guest on the Inside WSU Athletics podcast this week. But the 2015 Sun Bowl team having their reunion this weekend. I know you'll be busy with the game, but always cool when guys who have made an impact on the program, have a legacy, get to come back and be recognized.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the greatest ways in how you can continue to grow the program, is that the players take pride in playing here and want to come back and experience the memories that they had while they were in college. And we need to keep that consistent. As you say, that has changed across the landscape of college football with the transfer portal and NIL. So if we want more future Cougs to continue to take pride in wanting to be here at Washington State and stay, there's now an investment. And although we may not want to hear that, that's the reality of this. And if we want to stay competitive, we all have to be in this together. I said that from the jump when I took the job. Landscape of college football is different. It takes everybody and everything to have a competitive football program and competitive in college athletics in general. That's what it is.
Well said, Coach. Appreciate the time as always. Looking forward to Saturday.
Thank you.
Again, a big thanks not only to Jimmy Rogers, but our guest Chris Myers, Adamola Filelet, the folks who make this all possible here at the Lumberyard on the video side, Jared Pringruber on the audio side, Matt Kylo. Back in our Cougar Sports Network studio, Zane Saggio. I'm Chris King signing off. See you Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. Cougs against Toledo at Gesa Field. Go Cougs. You've been listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.